As we familiarize ourselves with the Flash workspace, it's important to understand that you also have the option to work with guides, rulers, and grids to help you when you're designing your document or your project and working for a specific size. So if we click on View on our application bar, we can point to rulers. You'll notice that a horizontal and a vertical ruler pop up, and it's working in pixels because that is our default measurement that we have our document set for. Now, if you recall, we could go into our Properties panel. We could click on our Edit Document Properties, the little wrench here, and we could change our rulers if we wanted to another measurement. So here I've changed to inches, and you'll notice now the ruler is shown in inches. Let me go ahead and put that back to pixels. Again, I'm clicking on my icon to edit my document settings, and I'm going to put this back to pixels. And I'm going to click OK. And you'll see that our ruler has been updated back to pixels. Another thing you'll notice is that the 0 on our horizontal ruler and on our vertical ruler point to the top left corner of our document. So we know that this point is 0 as we're doing our measurements. As you're working with Flash, if you start to bring out different objects and you're wanting to align things, you can create guides. Just like in other applications with Adobe, Illustrator for instance, and InDesign, you can click on your ruler and pull down to create a guide to work off of. So here we see our turquoise line pop up. That's a guide. I can also come here on my vertical ruler and pull out and release, and I can create another guide. So I can create as many guides as I want by clicking and dragging. I can come back in on the guide and I can make adjustments to them and their location. So if you're working on, say, a website interface, this could help you with your layout of your site by giving you an idea of where to place your navigation menu or the banner for your site, and also give you a good perspective on setting up the size of your different features that you're bringing into the website. If I go to View, I can point to guides, and I can actually lock these guides. So now you'll see as I hover over them, I cannot move them. I can't make any adjustments to them. So if I bring another guide down, once I let go, I can't make any movements to this. I can't adjust where it's located. So under View, Guides, I can unlock that. I can come back in and I can make adjustments. I can also move that back up to the ruler, and it'll remove that specific line or guide. I can go back to View, Guides. I can edit my guides. Here I can change the color. Maybe I'm working on a website that has a lot of blues in it, so I need to use a different color to create my guides with. I can choose to turn off being able to see them. I can also have snap guides enabled. So when I start drawing with any of my symbols or working with text, it'll actually like to go to that guide, kind of like it's magnetic, and it'll kind of jump to that location on the screen. So we can adjust the snap accuracy as well, that it must be close to it, it can be somewhat far away, or just the default normal. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Another option we have under View, in addition to our guides, we can turn on grids. So we choose Show Grid, you'll see here, and this is affected by your zoom, we can see a bunch of little squares. Again, this could help us when we're designing an interface for a website or a mobile app, so we can see how any objects we design will fit proportionally in relation to the whole space in which we have to work. So if I zoom in, I can click on my zoom here, and I can zoom into the grid and into my document. And you can see I'm zoomed in here at 400%, and obviously the grids are getting larger. If I go into 800, again, even larger. And you notice that my ruler is making adjustments as well to show where I am located on my document. Let me go ahead and go back out. I can do a Show All. That zoomed out probably more than 100%. Let me go back to 100. And there we go. So again, under my View menu, I have the option to turn on my rulers or turn them off. Again, the check mark indicates if something is active. My grid, I can edit my grid as well. So if I don't like that color, again, I can make adjustments to my color. I can turn on Snap to Grid. That's similar to working with a ruler. So if I start placing any objects on my workspace, it will want to go to that part of the grid, kind of like a magnetic field. And here I can change the size of my grid. Let me go ahead and change this to 25 by 25, and I'm going to click OK. And you can see now that my squares have changed size. So let me go ahead and go back to View, Grid. I can turn that off. Again, the check mark indicates that it's active. And I can go back to View, Guides, and I can turn off my guides. Again, the check mark tells us that it is active. And guides are saved with the document, so they will still be there when you open your document again to continue working on it. That also means when you open a new document, you will start with the default settings. I want to finish this chapter by showing you a good trick to know. Sometimes Flash can start acting sluggish or weird, like maybe the audio doesn't play in the timeline or something like that. When that happens, you can fix it by trashing the preferences. Let me show you how to do that. We can quit our program. I'm going to go ahead and say no on Saving Practice. After closing Flash on a Windows machine, I can reset my preferences by holding down the Alt, Control, and Shift key, pointing to my Start menu, going to All Programs, and opening up Flash the way I did initially from my Start menu. And what I'll get is a warning to delete my Adobe Flash Professional settings. I'm going to click OK or click Yes. Now, if you're working on a Mac, you would actually need to go into the folder and find the Preferences file and delete it there before opening the program. But you'll notice when I did that, I no longer have anything listed in my Open Recent Items, which I would have seen the file I created earlier called Practice. This also is a good way to fix any of the applications if they start to act a little strange and they don't seem to be working correctly. If you reset the preferences by holding down your Alt, Shift, Option key, and then restarting it from the Start menu, you can put your application back to factory specs, and it should start to work better.